Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. When you pay with membership rewards points for all or part of an eligible flight booked with a qualifying airline through Amex Travel, you can get 35% of those points back, up to 1 million points back per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
You're juggling a lot, but you can still squeeze in a financial plan. With the Northwestern Mutual Financial Advisor as your partner, it's not only possible, it's personalized. So if you're tying the knot, closing on a house, or welcoming a little one, you'll be ready for whatever life tosses your way. It's the right time to feel less stressed and more certain. That's a better way to money. Let's get started at nm.com. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Tell me what you're feeling.
This is a podcast that you're going to live.
Hey, what's happening? This is your host, Tinto, and yeah, I'm doing this fresh on the 1st of January 2026. So happy new year to all the feelers who've been faithful to the podcast and given me the support I need to keep going, because it does get tough. So because of this episode is fresh off the mill. I ground it fine with the laughs and the sparks of skill. I want you to press play, lean back, and let time stand still, because this is a bite-sized tale with a little bit of thrill. Hey! Listen, if I don't hype myself up for this year, ain't nobody coming to do that for me. So, yeah, if this is by all means an indication of what's coming in the new year, you guys are in trouble. Before this episode drops, I just want to give a shout out to the one feeler that got me started on the new year in a good note. On a good note, rather. They decided to call themselves Ndatambura, and they bought me 2 generous coffees. This has got to be the longest comment I've ever read. I don't know what it is. A comment, anyway, listen, right? Ndatambura goes, Tinto Shamar, which is like, Tinto, my friend, I know this is not a lot of coffees, but please allow me to pour my heart out. I'm going through a friendship breakup, and all I can say is the pain I'm feeling is heart-wrenching. You know, when you think someone is going to be in your life for good, we had some fights about small issues, but the fights could be intense. Then one day, Ndakazo Nyore wrote breakup note, which means I received a breakup note, and she basically cut me off. I was even unfriended on LinkedIn. Sorry. Wow, okay. I was unfriended on LinkedIn. Imagine. Ndakabayo panyama nete yangu. And that's to say that really hit a soft spot. Like that cut real deep. It's been about 4 months now, but the pain still feels very raw. I know that we are living in the age of self-love and cutting off people, but being on the other side, where I was the one being cut off, has been so eye-opening. I'm hoping to heal someday, but Zakos, pakaipa. Hey, man, Ndatambura, listen, I'm really sorry you've had to go through this. But guess what? That's why the Feeling Station is so cool. If you want to talk about this, come through, man. Let's dissect what has happened with this situation, and hopefully it doesn't burden you too much for the rest of 2026. If you would like to support the podcast in a way that you feel is great, and you want us to do the amazing things we have lined up for you, which is starting the year off with a dating show, feel free to give. You can do that by giving to the Feeling Station on www.buymeacoffee.com/Feeling Station, or better still, by DMing us to say that you want to be cast. I've got ladies to do it. Gents, yeah, please, right? You need to do better. This is like 2026. Podcasts have been running for 6 years now, and the women are still the one doing bits. So, men, come on. Right, let's do better. The show is ready to roll. I just need to get you on. Then yeah, we're good to go. You can have your episode. I've shot the pilot. I've shown the pilot to a few people, and I guess if you want to be a feeler that checks out the pilot, DM me, especially if you're in Northamptonshire. We'll get you to come around and check it out, because viewing of the pilots is only done in person, because all of the episodes will be in person too. Hey, without other way, come on, let's get straight into part 2 of Virus and Flowers.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here. On the Feeling Station.
So Zioni, the last time we spoke, you had just mentioned that you had left and Trojan hadn't come back. He had gone to his parents, and then he went to Wisteria, which I was still like, what the hell is going on? So the story is yours to pick up and continue from there.
So Wisteria works out of town, and she has to be driving back and forth from home when she's free over the weekends, and Trojan is staying at Wisteria's place. So the relationship proves, I think they stayed most probably about 6 months together. So Wisteria has got a very good job, and Trojan, remember, he's now out of a job.
Yeah.
So he's basically has to be taking care of stuff for Wisteria at home and all that stuff. So it happened that Wisteria had a trip to outside Africa for work. And she then asks Trojan to escort her to the airport. But the work conditions for her was that no one was supposed to be driving that car except only a person who works at her workplace. Yeah, so Wisteria goes to the airport and is dropped at the airport. On his way, he diverts the route. Instead of going home, he wanted to go somewhere else. And then he has an accident.
Yeah.
And then the car overturns and is a write-off, a typical write-off. And that obviously means Wisteria is in trouble at work. Yeah. So now she's livid, and she hears that this is the situation. She's livid, and she's wondering how she's gonna handle this, because obviously she couldn't afford the car. I think it was probably a Land Cruiser or something like that. Yeah, and then obviously the insurance wasn't gonna pay for it, because in the first place the rule was loud and clear on who was allowed to be driving the cars and all that stuff. So this is how the relationship broke up with Wisteria.
And you know this because this is what Trojan told you.
Remember, I was still in good books with the parents and the sisters.
Yeah.
So they were still like giving me updates, and they still had hope that we were gonna, reconcile and be a family once again. So they would tell me most of this stuff. I had already, he wasn't talking to me. He was very clear about that. So anything I knew about him, it was coming from his relatives.
That's a bit funny there, though, Zioni.
Yeah.
Because if someone doesn't want you, it doesn't really inspire hope when you're telling them or being told what's wrong in their life.
Yeah.
In fact, I would see that as all the reason not to even try and be with him anyway.
Exactly.
So why did you let them tell you all of this stuff? It obviously wasn't good for you.
Yeah, now I know, but then I thought maybe, when you're naive and you're ignorant of certain things that you learn through experience, you'll be thinking, okay, at least I know what's happening and they're telling me. You'll be thinking they love you,
Or were you thinking that there's so much bad happening that if it continues, it increases your chances of getting back with him?
Not necessarily, though. But I think, kind of mixed things like that. But that was not really my way of thinking. But if I piece all the information together, I think at my age then, it sounds like it could be part of the reasons why.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So after this accident, then he moves back to his parents. Now he's staying with his parents. And then the toll takes, of driving back and forth. Now it takes, it's heavy on me. And then I have to move into the big city. Because I couldn't commute, drive every day for 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours back and forth. So I had to, come back. And shift into a new town. So I do shift into a new town. And when Trojan hears that I'm shifting into this new place, he comes in to assist
Okay.
with shifting. Remember, I told you he's an opportunist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he comes in like wanting to be involved, and he was the type that wouldn't even like apologize or bring up past issues, and his conduct made you also not like enter into a conversation to ask. In fact, I think my naivety also made it worse because I wouldn't ask. For me, asking would mean he now goes away, and I wanted to keep him. So I wouldn't ask as well. So he comes in to help, and now he knows where I stay because he's come to assist. And then eventually he pays visits here and there. And then he then now comes back to stay. So we start a new life in the city, in this bigger city. And then things like move. I think for a year and all, he was also, loving and had kind of appearing to be more like he repented. That's what I could say. And
what was he doing differently?
He was just
for you to say that, yeah.
Like there were no mysterious calls, there were no mysterious movements. He's home all the time, and then he got a new job, so he's now going to work, and then he's now being more responsible, like and more. What can I say? Informative about the going on around himself and everything, like offering you information where you didn't ask for it, or just being transparent. That's what I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we pushed like that for, I think, a year, right? So remember, I'm saying he got a new job. Right. In this new job, there is orchid.
There's what?
Another orchid. Remember, I said I love flowers.
A new flower. Jesus.
A new flower blooms.
Right. What the hell, man? Okay. Right. Okay.
So by nature, an orchid it's like a hidden beauty. It's a mysterious flower, and it's linked to seduction, and it's very nice, but it's kind of very hard to take care of because
I've killed many orchids. Like, plenty.
You just can't
plenty.
handle it if you don't have the hands for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they meet at this workplace. So for me, like I was quite ignorant as well. Like in most cases, he really didn't change his behavior drastically for you to pick up that there's something going on. So he tries to be very consistent with his timetable, his everything. So if you're not very alert, you may not pick up that there's something going on. Remember the first time I picked up that there was something fishy was just through a phone call where I could just tell that he's outside and he's speaking slowly and quietly and didn't want to be loud. That's the only sign that made me, be intrusive. So he was like that. So he had this habit of now wanting to tell me that I cannot come to his workplace because we used to have lunch meetings, or sometimes he would come to my workplace, we go out for lunch, and then after lunch hour, he goes back to his workplace, I go to my workplace, and then after work, we meet again and go home. So he started making a bit of excuses to say, we are not allowed visitors at the workplace. And I'm like, I'm not a visitor, I'm a spouse. So why would you be
exactly?
So it wasn't adding up, And then one Friday, it was this period, I think it was in 2008 when things were very tough in Zimbabwe. So I worked for an NGO, so I got I had a privilege of getting a booklet of coupons. Yeah, so I had this booklet that I had. And this guy who was at my workplace, he used to come and repair printers at my workplace. So he knew that I had access to coupons, and fuel was very scarce most of the time. So he was asking me, can you sell a coupon or two for me, please? I used to do that just as a favor, but I was not into the business of selling coupons. So this particular Friday, he pressed me and said, please, I just need a coupon. It's very urgent that I get one. I was actually off on that particular day. And I'm like, I'm not at work. I'm busy. I needed to travel to South Africa the following morning. So he kept on pressing me. And then I said, okay, fine, let me just go to the office, grab the coupon and come down. I went to the office, I picked the booklet, and then instead of me just sharing one coupon, I made the mistake of carrying the entire booklet with me. He was waiting for me downstairs, and I was in my car.
Yo.
So this guy, he didn't tell me that he intended to sell this coupon to someone else. You know, he acted like he's the one who needed it.
And now he's got a whole booklet.
Yes. And remember, I also wanted to travel, so I took cash with me that I usually keep in the safe. I think it was about $2,000. And then the moment I enter the car, he calls me, where are you? I'm like, no, I'm in my car. And then he comes in, he sits behind the back seat. He's got these two men with him. And then he asks for the coupon I give him. That exact moment, the two men then put out their IDs and say, we are from the CID section. We've arrested you for selling coupons.
What?
And I'm shocked. I'm like, how can you do this to me? And he was also shocked. Like, you know, I was like, no, I was trapped. I didn't know. So they took us to the central police station and they confiscated the coupons because they were not saying this is evidence. And then they also took the money that I had on me. And I'm trying to call Trojan to say I'm in trouble. Please come to the police station. Trojan doesn't pick my phone. I slept in the cells on that Friday. I keep trying to call. Like, I only had a chance with my phone, you know, just once before it was taken away.
Yeah.
He doesn't return the call. That is a Friday night. The Saturday morning, this guy, he's the one then who arranged for his other connections to get us out of the cells. Trojan is nowhere to be found. He doesn't pick his phone after we were released. I think we were released around 11 or somewhere there on Saturday morning. I managed to get my cash back. I was adamant about that because I wasn't dealing with any cash, but the coupons, they refused to give them back to me. So I'm traumatized by being, you know, locked up in the cells. This man is nowhere to be found. He's not picking. His phone was not even going through. And he then comes back on a Monday morning. I didn't even know where he was, but rumor has it that he had gone to Botswana. And he hears this. He actually, because I ended up calling his sister to tell him that I'm in trouble, etc., etc. But he knew that I was in trouble, but he didn't. When he came back, he didn't even talk about it.
So he got back, and how did he explain him not picking up his phone or being away for an entire weekend?
He just didn't offer that information. You know, he was very condescending as well. Like, once he gets into this mood and this whatever, you can't ask him anything. And I was also kind of scared, you know.
Okay, so you're basically saying, even if you had asked the question, you knew you wouldn't have gotten the answer, so there's no point in asking the question. Because I remember you did say earlier on that if he's asked questions, he just goes quiet.
Yeah, he would just go quiet. Or he would say, like, if one time I asked him that, I know you are dating so and so. I picked this up and it says, he would just answer you like, so what? that would be just his answer. So he would just be so hit back at you with this snagging remarks that you feel even more hurt. So I had developed this habit of, like, I can't even question him, So he didn't even offer an explanation about any of that, So they start, this dating with Orchid. It goes on for quite a while. So in most cases, he would we used one car. He would ask us to drop me at work very early. We would leave home at 6, where we would normally leave home at 7. He would leave home at 6 and he says he's got a lot of outreach places to go. So he wanted to be early. I would have to get to work earlier than everyone else every single day. We drop the kids earlier as well. And only to discover that he was actually creating time to go and pick Orchid from where she stays after dropping me and the kids. So they would have, and this went on for quite a while.
You haven't explained how you concluded that Orchid was now his girlfriend. How did you find out that they're an item?
I found out that they were an item because of this cousin, the other cousin I mentioned before, that that told me about the trip to Botswana. Mm-hmm. They were working at the same place. This cousin, Trojan and Orchid, were working at the same place. Mm. So sometimes I would kind of want to answers to certain pieces of information where I couldn't fit in some puzzles, and then I would just ask him what's really going on, like this cousin. Sometimes you'll be like, you know what? I don't want to be telling you this, but this is what is going on. He's the one who told me about Orchid and Trojan being in Botswana when I was locked up in the cells. So he was also, I later discovered that he was also a bit on the spiteful side, because if he really cared about me, he wouldn't have been giving me this information. Actually, him being a man, he's in a better position not to be telling me anything.
Or he knew you could tell you and you would do nothing. So it wouldn't cost him anything.
Yeah, maybe as well.
That's what I'm more inclined to think, because bro code would say don't say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But because he knows whether he says anything or he doesn't do anything, it doesn't change.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Because I'm just thinking about what you've dealt with so far. I've been trying to keep track of who's who. but this is at least the second woman in something quite serious, in quotes. And you've been incarcerated. You've spent a night in a cell, and those cells are cold.
Yeah,
and you're there with no shoes.
Filthy.
And they're filthy and they smell.
Exactly. So, and the trauma.
The trauma.
It doesn't get out of your mindset.
Yeah, and deliberately, the officers who do a lot of this stuff do it to humiliate you, to send a message and a signal, deliberately.
Exactly.
So you've been humiliated, you're at your lowest point. And then to add insult to injury, he's gone off with not only another woman, he has left the country. He's not just left you in despair.
Yeah,
he's left the country. And then he's come back and he's left you with no explanation. Then he's left you deeper in your feelings.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Here you are, still hearing more of this stuff and sticking around. I mean, I'm deriving a lot of value. Normally I would ask, why are you doing this? I'm just playing this back to myself. Because I know it ties into your first lesson, know when to walk away. I just don't know how you hadn't walked away.
I don't know either. I don't know. I keep, I asked myself later on to say, why did I tolerate this? Because we were married for more than a decade.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So this affair goes on with Orchid. And then one particular day, remember I was no longer like going to this workplace, you know. One, because also I wasn't that type of a person who imposes themselves on someone when, like, you make me feel unwanted. I had a way of withdrawing, you know. So I
I
just told
don't know
myself,
that,
okay,
Zione, because you're not withdrawing, you're still with him.
yeah, but I'm withdrawing without boundaries. No, if you tell me that you don't want me to call you, I will not call you. I was not moving away from the situation.
How many years had this now been into your marriage?
Because the first instance started at year 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would go on for 9 months away. So these periods of him having to go away for 9 months were now 3. So that's three more years down the line.
So 8 years.
No, remember he would go away for 9 months and then he would come back and stay for a year or 2. So we're now towards, I think, 11
Jesus.
years. Yeah. So one particular day, while at my workplace, these people at his workplace, I think they already knew me. I didn't know much about them. So there's a woman who called me on my landline at work. And she introduces herself and she says, you know what, I like you so much. You are a very nice person. And I've watched you go through, tough times with this Trojan. I just want to let you know that there's a situation here at work. Trojan and Orchid. Orchid got pregnant.
You?
So when she got pregnant, Trojan immediately refused the pregnancy. So this then made Orchid livid, and she started backbiting and saying everything that they used to do together at work. Remember, she used to be picked. Like we had our own car that Trojan used to go and pick her with. But when they went out for work errands, because it was in outreach, they would use the company car together. They would go together for these outreach programs. So he would, when he's given the opportunity to go and fuel up the car, sometimes he doesn't fuel the entire quantity that he has been asked to do. He takes some of it and puts it in a container for his own personal car. So this was all in the eyes of Orchid. So she started talking about all those things and talking about where the car would be driven out of, the around allowed vicinities or whatever. So she started saying a lot of stuff that they used to do together, because she was also angry that he's dumping her. So they were supposed to be attending a hearing. Orchid obviously had evidence and all that stuff. So during this time, I think, when you're attending a hearing, you're given enough time, a warning, probably 7 days, etc., before the hearing starts. So you'll be knowing that you are going to be attending a hearing. So during this particular time, Trojan started making up stories about work, saying my boss is being difficult with me. I don't understand where this is coming from. She's just having a bad attitude towards me, etc. So I didn't really understand where this was coming from as well. But I was just like, why would she be, creating problems for you? What have you done? So he started making up stories so that when this hearing turns in a bad way, I will be prepared, with all this information, and I'll be knowing that, remember he told me that there was trouble at work. So this was evident.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I didn't think it was something deep until I received this phone call, this anonymous phone call. So this woman told me everything about the hearing. The hearing was being done that particular day.
Do you know how she got your number?
I don't know how she got my number, but she knew. Remember, I once told you that we used to be looked at it as a power couple. Like people knew us, and sometimes he would, like if he's at work or whatever, he would just call, and he was using these affectionate words that people don't normally, get to hear often. So people were curious about, wanting to know who's the wife to this man. So they knew me, but I didn't know them. But also, I think she could have gotten my number because then the NGO setup was a very small community. Yeah. So I think it was not hard for her to get my number.
Right.
But my name she already knew. Yeah. So she tells me about this hearing, and she actually knew that the hearing was going to take a red 10. So she told me, he's getting into a hearing and he's going to be fired. So I keep this particular time he was supposed to, after work, he was supposed to go for some study or something. He used to do a lot of multiple courses. So after this call, I then call him and say, what time are you coming home today? And he says, I'll come after 6 because I'm going for study. And I'm like, okay. And he says, why are you asking? I'm so, no, I just needed to talk to you about something. And then he decides not to go because I think he was curious to say, why would I want to be talking to him? So he abandons the study and then comes home. And then he says, you indicated you wanted to talk to me. And I said, I've actually changed my mind. I don't want to talk about this. So I didn't ask him. So it kind of disturbed me. On the other hand, he didn't tell me that he was fired. In the morning, we were supposed to go and see the kids. They were at a boarding school. So we were supposed to take a trip. This was a Friday. So on Saturday morning, we were supposed to take a road trip, and go see the kids. We went there. I was just quiet. I was just, and then he asks me what's wrong, And then I tell him that, you know what, I got a call from someone at your office. A lady called me, but I didn't know her name. And he starts shouting and making drama. And he calls every single lady in his contacts that he works with, asking, are you the one who called my wife? And, and I'm like, why are you even doing that? You're making things worse.
Yeah.
Even people who didn't know about this
now
end up knowing.
Yeah.
So he starts shouting at people. I told you he had a temper. He starts shouting. But I don't even know whether he really managed to get the person who actually said this. But I don't think he did. So now it's out there in the open that he has been fired. And this is when he now talks about, the losing the job. But he's telling me in a way that, like, if I hadn't known about this call, I wouldn't have known that he would have lost his job. I think he was going to pretend waking up and going to work.
Yeah. To save face, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it also happened that that following week, I was supposed to go for a trip at work to SA. We're driving. And then I'm leaving to go to SA. My sister is at home with the kids. He says, please call me when you cross the border. And I'm like, no, fine, I will do that. I get to the border. I try to call him. He's not reachable. I get to the hotel. I'm trying to call him. He's not reachable. I'm calling my sister. My sister's number is not going through. And I'm just thinking, it's probably network. And then in the morning, I get hold of my sister to say, you know what, I'm looking for Trojan. I couldn't get hold of him since yesterday. And she says, Trojan is not here. He left yesterday. I'm like, where did he go to? He said he's going to Malawi. And I'm just like that. And I'm like, what did he say he was going to do there? And he says he's going to look for a job. I come back, I stay the entire week. There's no Trojan. You can't get hold of him anyway. After 2 weeks, the mother calls me and says Trojan is home. And I'm like, home where? And says at the parents' place. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to know anything about him. This time I'm now like moving towards, don't tell me anything. You know. So he stays at his parents' place. This is another 9 months that he's there. One day while I'm at work.
So wait a second. This is problematic on so many levels. If my son has gone off and he's got married, and then he decides to come and sleep at home, the first thing I'm going to be asking him is, what are you doing here? Or when are you going back to your house? What was he saying at this point? Because it doesn't sound like you had beefed about anything. You hadn't kicked off about anything. He is the one who had got someone pregnant. There were problems at work. He got fired. He tried to get a job in Malawi. It didn't work out. Why isn't he coming back home to you?
Apparently, the first thing I realized when we got married is that he still had keys to his room, the boys' room at the parents' place. He still kept those keys. So it acted out like he's allowed to come home anytime. The parents didn't do anything about it. Even the father didn't question him.
I know that's a problem.
When they see him there, they will just like leave him there.
Yeah, I know that that is a problem. They I hate to say this, but they enabled
him.
Definitely enabled some of his really poor behavior. And and I guess I was going to ask you a question that you've already answered, to say, well, why weren't you asking when aren't you coming home? But you know that you wouldn't answer anyway, so it was a pointless question to ask. And he's gone for 9 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what were you doing in the 9 months? Where would you see? Would you see him in those 9 months at all?
No, I wouldn't see him. I wouldn't even look for him. I wouldn't even talk about his absence to anyone. I would continue my life like everything is normal.
So what were
People who asked about?
So what were you doing then in terms of things like intimacy? Because you're somebody's wife. You should be having sex with your husband. What were you doing through those 9 months hiatus of him being away?
Total abstinence. One, psychologically, you won't even think about it. Physically, you won't even be feeling anything. You are so busy, with the kids, errands, work, and everything. Those are the things that least crossed my mind. Yeah. So, and then one particular day, he comes. My brother was at home. He calls me and says, your husband is here. I'm like, what do you mean he's here? He says he's here. Remember he had keys to the house. He went into the bedroom. He vandalized stuff. He took out the bulbs from the bedroom and the lounge. He took my passport away. And then he leaves. And I'm like, why did you let him do that? And he was like, I was just like surprised and I was helpless. And then I phoned the parents and I'm like, this is what your son has done. I don't even know why he's doing this. Why did he even come to the house? And why does he want my passport? No, the reason why he took my passport was because I traveled a lot. So he wanted to kind of fix me.
He traveled more than you did.
Yes. His traveling was local.
Nah, it doesn't. No, it wasn't. He was going to Botswana and Malawi. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I traveled with work more.
Yeah, okay.
So he wanted to make sure that day is like incapacitated.
What reason, Nagomana? Because this guy was even gone for 9 months.
He was vindictive. He was also stalking me. And he would make sure that he knew things that were happening in my life. Yeah. He was a very vindictive person. So he just wanted to make sure that I'm fixed, So I called the father and I just give them an ultimatum. say, can you just tell him to return my passport? I don't care about everything else that he's doing, but there's no reason for him to be taking my passport. Otherwise, I'll just report him.
Mm.
And then he brings the passport the following day and he drops it at the guards.
Mm.
And then during that particular period again, I was the type of person who goes into the office. I don't come out at lunch hour. I'll only come out of the office at 5 or when I'm about to go home. So I used to park the car just by the car park in front of the office. This is in the city center. So this particular time, we needed to go and see a workmate who was not feeling well at the hospital. I come out and my car is not there, and I'm shocked. And the touts that work in town, they knew our car and they usually reserved a parking spot for us. They knew we were married. So they say, Dara came to collect the car. And I'm like, why? He had a spare key. So I think probably this had been going on for quite a while, but just because I didn't notice it and I was, but I was surprised sometimes that the fuel that I put up in the car doesn't last me, the anticipated time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, the following day, I don't put the car on that parking spot. I go in the parkade. There was an underground parking that belonged to the bank. Our office was situated at a bank. So I park the car there. He comes as usual and wants to take the car. He doesn't find it. He asks the touts. The touts don't know anything, And then he phones me and starts shouting at me. I want to use the car. I'm going to for lessons. Well, and I'm like, you don't steal the car from me. If you wanted to use it, you could have asked for it and you fuel it up. I could have, maybe worked out something, but you can't get it in that manner. So I refused, And then from then on, he goes to report me to the central police station, the HR department. He now starts fabricating stories to say she's a married woman, but she's dating somebody. And I'm called in to attend this meeting at the central police station. I'm like, why am I attending this? And that serious office that calls you and they kind of instill a fear in you that you have done something wrong. The only time I noticed that it was about a marital issue was when they told me that they are from the HR department. And the mother is part of the meeting as well.
Wait. You're called by the HR department of the police? I think I missed something there. Which HR which HR department called you?
The central police station.
Okay.
Yeah, they've a department that deals with human resources and this kind of issues. This is where.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that part. So you're saying that the central police department is got a department maybe that deals with corporation fraud. Then there's one that deals with HR. Related matters.
Yeah, HR and marital related matters.
Okay.
Where, like domestic violence, etc.
Okay, yeah. Issues. Okay, yeah.
So this is where they call me for a meeting. And the mother is also part of the meeting. And then when they are calling me to enter the office, they are asking me, we have a report here that your husband suspects that you're dating somebody, etc., etc. You're also refusing him to access your matrimonial property, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in the first instance, I want to understand what the mother is doing here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about anything in the presence of his mother. And he's adamant that his mother is not going anywhere. And I'm also like, okay, fine. If your mother is not going anywhere, then I'm not talking about anything. I'm also having to, go back to work. I'm actually at work right now, but you disturb my work schedule. So then the mother goes out. And then I asked the caucus police to say, can you just ask him where he is staying right now?
Mm-hmm.
Where does he live?
Mm-hmm.
If he's saying that there's something going on and he's asked, and then he says, I'm at my parents' house, and I'm like, okay, so does he act like he's a married person to you, a responsible person who's leaving his family and coming and reporting these things? As long as he's not staying with me or, with his family, then I don't see the reason why I should be talking about these issues to you.
Mm-hmm.
So they dismissed us, We get into the parking car lot. He asks for a lift to be dropped in town, and the mother as well. I drop them in town, and then I go back to the office. From then on, he didn't now come and access the car. I changed the parking spot and everything, so he no longer had access to the car. And then he's still out of a job because the Malawi thing didn't work, right? And then as time went on, the family asked for a meeting with my family members to sit us down and reconcile. At first I was like, I don't think I want to, but then I later agreed, and then he returns. He finds a job, but this job is in one of the southern east African countries. He goes there and he works there in a clinic. And then enter a lantana.
Oh my God. Wow.
So a lantana is a flower that is that thrives in the heat. It is drought proof. It's like it's in the family of succulents. They will thrive anywhere where there's no water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this exactly suited her character and everything. So this lantana here, they did not meet at this new workplace. But this lantana was part of his past. I later discovered this because now he's working in Namibia. Lantana calls me. I think they'd lost contact. She sends me a message to say, I'm looking for Trojan. I used to work with him, but I lost his contact, but he borrowed some books from me, and these books are very important to me. Do you by any chance know where the books are? Remember I told you he was a bookworm.
Mm.
And then I'm believing this story, and I'm like, I'll check them for you, and if they are there, then maybe I can get them to you. And she says, okay, can I have his number? And then I give out this number.
She had your number because they were friends before, or?
Yes, they were friends before. They were lovers before. But this one, I hadn't discovered it then. But I think when these other people came in, this relationship dwindled.
It's just funny that all these people seem to magically have your number.
I think he used to give him. He used to give the numbers out. I don't know why.
It's
but
very
this
strange.
Is what yeah. So she sends the number. She calls me and she gets the number. Or I think the other thing also was because we also used to swap numbers. Remember when the SIM cards were very scarce and expensive? There was a time when if he got a new line, I could use his old line.
Right.
So, yeah, so most people would either know that they are either talking to me or him.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So I give the number to Lantana, right? And then I think they start talking and everything is rekindled. And then Lantana starts to send me messages to insult me. Where is this coming from? I ask, this Trojan to say, I'm receiving this message, and then he just brushes them off. Hey, just ignore her. She's whatever. He put up the same story that I borrowed books from her, so she's livid about not getting access to those books, etc., etc. This is the story that he told me. I'm like, okay, I leave them, and then Trojan's brother passes away. The one I was saying, Trojan Pro. I was in Cape Town when he passed away, so Trojan couldn't come. And then I handled the funeral with my other family members, etc., etc. And then after the funeral, he then later came, I think, on the memorial for the next month. Then that month that he came back, I then asked him about this whole Lantana business. He says, no, there's nothing going on, etc., etc. And I'm like, okay, that's all right. But I'm still suspecting that there's something going on. The other reason why I was suspecting was that I had a very weird dream of Trojan having sex with a workmate. But this workmate in my dream, she was a nun. Because he used to work at a Catholic health center. So it kept disturbing me. And normally I'm not that person who just has, these dreams and just ignores them for some reason. So I take a leave for about 3 weeks. I embark on a surprise visit to see him. I go by road, part of it, and then I catch a flight, part of the trip. He doesn't know I'm coming. During a certain period, we had a small car that he told me had some mechanical and whatever problems and was no longer a runner. So he had parked it somewhere, and this car had been absent from our home for more than 6 months. So I kind of believed that. So I find my way there. I arrived there. It was still around 3 p.m. So he still had not knocked off. He was going to knock off around 5 p.m. He was shocked to see me. Mixed emotions, I think, both excited but shocked because he wasn't prepared for this. So he then introduces me to his workmates and all. And then I see this nun that I saw in my dream. She's at the workplace. I could recognize her. And then I'm like, okay, fine, this dream is confirmed. So he takes me home. The place where he was staying was a few meters from the workplace. We walked there. While I was walking there, I could see the car, parked. He imported the car into that country without my knowledge. So he had all the papers to import the car there. And he started making up, coming up with stories. Oh, I ended up bringing the car. Sorry, I didn't tell you. He just started covering up his tricks. And I'm like, I didn't comment. I just left him to do that. We get into the house. It was a 3-bedroomed house. And he had to go back to work. So he left me there. He just unlocked and left me there. I start opening drawers. I find some condoms. And then I just my instinct tells me to open the top part of the wardrobe. I see a folder, a black folder. That folder had the papers for the car, the temporary import papers for cars that stay longer than a certain period in a country. You need to pay some funds for that. Right. I see all the papers. I also see papers for Lantana, for work permit applications. I also see pictures for Lantana. There were pictures for both of them. He was behind him and hugging her from the back. Yeah. And then I just took out the stuff and I just put them on the table. When he came back, he saw the things on the table. I didn't say anything. I just put them out there on the table. He picks the pictures and says, oh, I need to burn this. I'm like, why are you burning them? They are yours. Mm-hmm. So he went outside and burnt the papers. He actually invited me to come and watch him burning it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I didn't ask. I didn't ask about all this. I just put it out there. And then my 3 weeks end and I go back. And then when I went back home now, I decided to stop all the financial support to the in-laws because I then realized that out of all the years that we've been together, all I did was financially support this family. But I didn't have anything tangible for myself. I was capable of, we had bought 2 pieces of land, but we had not, built anything. And then I was capable of having, financed something to materialize out of that, but I wasn't because I was supporting the family a lot. So I just told him that I can't do this anymore. I want to buy a piece of land and start, building up. And he was so livid about it, and then he passed on that message to his parents and the sisters, and the family started like distancing themselves from me immediately. So there was a lot of discord between the two of us. So now he wasn't sending money to me when he was in that country. He was now sending money to his sister. If there was anything to be given to me, I would get it from the sister. If there was nothing, I would not get anything. So I tried to, proceed with my plan. I did buy a piece of land. I started building that piece of land. And his contract now ends and he returns back home. He had a 2-year contract. He returns back home. And then now he's excited about, seeing this new project and he wants to get involved, And then he finds a job, I think, within 6 months of coming back home. In this job now, he meets Petunia, very short-lived. Petunia is a flower that blooms for about a week or
yeah, they're very pretty. They're very pretty.
They're very colorful.
Very colorful, especially and the color ranges are broad. Yeah, but they don't last at all.
Yeah, exactly. So he meets this person. So the time I knew started sensing something, he would always like, Petunia this, Petunia that, Petunia this. And I'm like, this name is always on your tongue every now and again. I don't have a good feeling about this. No, she's just a workmate. And obviously I was right, So he has a car accident, so a motorbike accident. He was now, his outreach involved him using a motorbike. And then he gets sick leave and then comes back home during this sick leave to be nursed. And then Lantana comes back.
When they talk about having the patience of saints, right? I don't know if this is what they meant because
surviving flowers. She comes back. And then the how I knew she came back was that there was a particular morning when I was about to go to work. I opened his wallet. I wanted to get some cash. Then I discover a business card for Lantana. Those days we were using business cards, physical ones. And then I just take it out of his wallet. And then when he looks for it, he gets angry. Why did you take this card? And I'm like, come on now. This is just a business card. If you really knew what you were doing and you were a very respectful person, you could have just gone to ask for another one and replace it quietly. But now you are just serving disrespect right in my face by wanting to, cry out loud for a business card that you could easily replace. So by this time, I think I was starting to, find my voice. We were then supposed to have a family meeting with my uncles about all the marital problems we were going through. So I immediately, just like, I can't be here. I packed my stuff and went away I just picked my bag and went away to my brother's place for that particular. It was on a Friday, for that particular Friday, and then I came back on Saturday evening with my uncles and everything. We find him, he's sitting in the lounge. We want to have a meeting with him. My uncle addressed him and they tried to engage in a conversation. In fact, he had been told about this meeting before, and he was willing to have this meeting, But the moment they came and wanted to address, he ignored them, totally ignoring them like they were invisible. And my uncle was like, come on now, we can't be disrespected to this extent. This person is not serious, So that is then when I just packed my stuff. I took the kids and I went to my brother's place. I remember this house that we were staying in, we were renting it. We didn't own anything, but there's that house that I had started building up, but it was not yet ready for occupation. It was still quite far. So I packed my stuff. I took the kids away. This was on a holiday. They were not yet back in school. I went to my brother, and then I stayed there for, I think, a month or two. The next week, just after I had left, I wanted to come back and collect some other household items. The house was vacant. It had nothing, absolutely nothing. It was a rented place. So I think immediately when I left, he also came and, shifted and took everything away. So I was left with absolutely nothing. And the sisters helped him to carry the stuff. So I go back to my brother. And this is the onset of separation. This is early January. This is the onset of separation. I go to stay with my brother for 3 months until I get myself, up on the ground. During this time that I was with my brother, he came to my brother's place. He wanted the car. And because I refused the car, he actually wanted to vandalize it. He had this hammer and everything, And then my brother just called the police and everything. That's when he went away. And then at this house that we were renting, he was responsible for paying the rentals and the bills. So there were some bills that he had not settled. I think it was for the water bill or something like that. So it still had some bills that were unsettled. And this house actually belonged to my cousin's sister and the husband. But he was friends with my sister's husband, tight. And my sister's husband both of them, they worked in the police sector. So they were so tight, that I appeared like an outcast, to both of them. So he sends people at my workplace. The black boots police from the Morris Depot. He sends them to my workplace to intimidate me. And they came with a car. They said, we need you to accompany us to the police station. And no, I'm not going into your car. I'll come there, but I'll drive myself to the police camp. So we get there and they take me to the officer in charge. And the officer in charge tells me that we have a complaint that you didn't settle some water bills and whatever. And I'm like, is this your mandate to be talking about water bills that are unpaid? I don't think you are overstepping your boundaries and misusing power. And immediately I knew that it was my brother-in-law who had connived with Trojan. So I just said, I think you guys are overusing your power, and I'm not here to be, talking about this. But they actually called my sister's husband and said the woman that you have sent here is very stubborn, so we can't do anything.
Hey, the woman you've sent here is very stubborn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very stubborn. So they didn't win. So I had to go back. And then the separation lasts 2 years. Right?
And you separated at what? At the 15-year mark of the marriage?
14th.
14th, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. It lasts 2 years. I got myself like on my feet and started, a new life, everything. I would miss him, here and there. And I still, kind of wanted us to work. So sometimes I would message him, and he would actually respond positively. I miss you too. And then there was this one particular, we're almost coming to an end now. There was this one particular morning, I message him. He doesn't respond, right? I just ask him to, like, for the sake of closure, I want to know if you are still with Lantana. Lantana is the one who was very persistent. The relationship lasted 4 years.
Yay.
So I asked him, are you guys still together with Lantana? And then the response comes in at 4 a.m. Oh, that response was packed. He told me, do not think about me. Do not even dream about me. Do not hope to see me. Do not do anything. I have moved on with my life. I want nothing from you, and don't ever, ever contact me or even think an ounce about me.
Yeah.
And that is when I said, okay, this is it. I'm going for... That morning I woke up, I went to see my lawyer and filed for a divorce.
Sure.
And yeah, the divorce was not easy. He wanted property. Remember the property that I was developing there? He wanted that. So I had already foreseen this coming. So I tried to sell it to a friend of mine. So he got wind of it, that I wanted to sell this property. He went and reported me to the criminal whatever department for the CID again. I was away when he did this. I was in Malawi. So I had spent 3 months in Malawi working. So the time I returned, on a weekend, a gentleman passed by our road. So he asked my son, is your mom here? And my son just like innocently said yes. So he knew that I was back. So they came and collected me they wanted to collect me in that particular afternoon, to go with them to the Central Police Station. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting into anyone's car. So I call my lawyer and we meet at the Central Police Station, and they are saying, you are being accused of selling matrimonial property without your partner knowing.
Yeah.
So, and this man that came from the CID is like, but you seem like a nice person. Where is this all coming from? And I'm like, I don't know, And then he just confesses to me and say, you know what? Your husband actually told me to lock you up for 3 days and not release you. So our motive was to lock you up, but I've seen that you look like a very, nice person and you are cooperative and everything. So why can't you guys talk about this? By then, my lawyer was already there, and my lawyer was like, this has nothing to do with you. This is a case that is still in the High Court. It will settle it in the High Court. So we are taking our client and we are leaving. So I left. And then the divorce was concluded in 2013. We ended up having to share that property because all I wanted was peace.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to move on with my life. Yeah, and I also wanted to change my name back to my maiden name, so that I could change everything, my travel documents and everything. I didn't want to fight anymore. I just told myself, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. 3 years down the line after the divorce, he then starts sending his mother to reach out seeking for reconciliation. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I can't. So within these 3 years after the divorce, I started a new life. I acquired new property. I finished the property, and now I'm progressing. Yeah, and he did remarry. I think 3 years down the line, he married someone else who's not even part of these other ladies. They started their new life. He's worked in Europe and some other countries. They were still in the NGO sector, but up to date, there's still no achievement. He's back again in Africa and still struggling with his life. And
Eish.
I think he's got 2 kids now with this person. Yeah. So yeah, I left and I found new life. I didn't move on in terms of remarrying or anything, but I just found myself and started focusing on myself and my achievements and the kids, and put this behind me.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I had to let out that big sigh because it's a sigh of relief. Because
and when I look back,
yeah,
I asked myself, like, why did I hang on to this for almost 15 years? And when I also look at the gravity of the things that he did that were cruel, the incidences that he did to me that were so cruel, I found myself telling myself that it is not worth even considering, a reunion or anything. It was not worth it, because imagine somebody wanting to drag you so that you just don't follow up on his activities or anything, this wanting to throw you out of a moving car, not being there for you when you are thrown in a cell, just disappearing for, I can just say maybe 27 months all in all.
Yeah.
The 9 months and all those stuff. I look back and, piece those things together and tell myself, there is nothing, under the sun that would make me even think of going back to this man, no matter how much he tried. I don't think, and this is where now I've learned to create boundaries for myself and shape myself.
Yeah.
And know exactly when not to, like to ignore certain things, red flags, and stick to my boundaries. Because you'll be abused and you won't even be, aware that you're being abused. Yeah. Back then, these words about being narcissists were not yet a trend. So right now I can see that he was a pure narcissist.
I'm just looking back at your lessons, and this has got to be one of the best correlation between the lesson and the story. Because your first lesson is know when to walk away. And, given that you're in the thick of it, you didn't know when to walk away. That's why you're telling somebody listening to this now that if there are all the signs that you should walk away, walk away.
Yeah.
And then number 2, emotional independence is the best gift you can give yourself. And you're right. Because remember, right at the beginning, you mentioned that your relationship with your father, I think. Did you say your father?
Yeah.
Yeah, relationship with your father was strained since you lost your mom.
Yeah. And then I also depended on my husband too much, such that I didn't know how to create my own happiness by myself.
Yeah.
I thought he was the center of my happiness. So everything I did would be together with him. But now I can take myself out for a coffee. I can take myself out for a holiday. I can take myself out to do things without necessarily a man being part of it, and I'm still happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I really get that. It's true. Emotional independence really allows you to be free and to do as you see fit for yourself.
Yeah.
And then number 3, turn each red flag into a boundary. Every ignored red flag becomes a rule for a future you. I mean, you've got nothing more to say there. And then last but not least, infatuation thrills, but compatibility fulfills. Choose wisely. I mean, that is very straight and clear. That be with somebody who you're actually compatible with, because you'll find that more fulfilling in the long run. Because 15 years is a long time.
Yeah. And now when I look at this compatibility issue at my age, I'm looking at goal-wise, are we compatible? Like, are you where I also want to be, or are you taking yourself there? Like trying to date people, I've seen that, I've come to a certain level where I'm improving in property, right? But when you start dating somebody who hasn't gotten there, they see you as a threat. When you've started dating somebody who doesn't travel, and you can take yourself out for a holiday, and they have other responsibilities, like they still have to pay school fees, they still have to, do a lot with their money. They are seeing you like you're wasting money.
Yeah.
Why can't you help me? So I'm looking at compatibility from all areas. I want to be in the same place that I am with somebody who's also at the same stage that I am. If we need to travel, we are traveling. There's nothing that puts us, like, oh, sorry, I can't because I have to take, I still need fees for my children. I still do. My children are all now out of school and are working. So my financial responsibilities are not really tied down to certain things that other people are still chasing, prosperity and all that stuff. So I analyze those things, and if I see that this one is not a fit, then I might have certain problems if I choose to get into a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Because they don't see me that way. Yeah. So compatibility is not just about emotions and, physical outlook. It's about a whole lot of other things that, shape the future of people together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Ziona, thank you very much, man. That is, that's a lot. And I can't thank you enough. I'm confident somebody listening to this, a feeler listening to this, has walked away saying, this is me. And number 1, know when to walk away. You guys have been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I will catch you in next week's episode.
Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over. Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah. Kuchiziro amai. Love is a fire.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.